there were places in Canada, there were places in South America, and places in Europe, and no matter what the linguistical barriers or cultural differences were, I was always so proud to introduce Mom and Dad to my friends and my colleagues when I was living and working in other places. And they always found a way to win over people's hearts with their genuine curiosity for other people and their kindness and also their great sense of humor. So just to give a couple of examples about, to add to the roast. This is Montreal, my apartment. Several years ago, Mom came to visit. And I had I lived with Russ and Mike were their names, and they were so cool that I didn't even try to keep up with them. And we had a great flat and neighborhood, and Mom was sitting on the couch with the three of us, and we were having a really good conversation, and Mom was talking about the place that she comes from in Asphodel Township, which you'll hear a little more about. And Russ and Michael were so intrigued by Mom's stories, and you may have heard of a band called 3 Days Grace that was from Norwood, that hails from Norwood. They did very well for a while. They were quite renowned. And Mom started telling the story. Well, it's near Norwood, a town called Norwood, and well, there's a well-known band from there. You may have heard of them. They're called the Tragically Hip. So, and we just love how some of Mom's terms and names tend to be very fluid with each other. And just the other day, it was actually her birthday, we were driving in the car, and I was driving, Mom was in the back seat, my phone message beeped, and Mom said, Nancy, you just got a fax on your phone. Mom, we love you for those characteristics of yours and those nuances. Next little story. Buenos Aires, the capital city of Argentina. Mom and Dad came to South America for their very first time to visit me while I was living in a region south of the capital. And we were wandering around the streets, and this was the end of their trip, so they were getting a little bit used to listening to Spanish, but of course they didn't understand it or speak it. And in Argentina, especially Buenos Aires, there are a lot of immigrants that have come from Italy for generations, and so because of that, pizza is a very common dish to have when you're at a restaurant. And Dad at the time, hope you don't mind me revealing this, he was taking lactate pills to help because he wasn't digesting the lactose very well, the cheese. But he couldn't stay away from that pizza, and so he ran out of the pills while they were on trip. And Mom and I think we were window shopping or shopping, and Dad saw a pharmacy, and he was gone. All of a sudden, we looked around, and he was gone. And I kind of started walking to try and see where he had gone, and I looked in the window of this pharmacy, and I could see this tall man up by the counter, and I walked in, and I don't think he didn't know that I was there, and I didn't want to interrupt his trying to communicate what he wanted. So I just stood there and observed quietly, and maybe I'll give a full view here. This is what I saw while I was looking.